Exactly. When we go ahead and we see what what Cloud does in the actual game, it's so interesting because like I said, the outside it's such a different picture. But when it comes down to play, Cloud's definitely there, ready to go and ready to put out some highlight reels. As you see, we'll take a look at Cloud does the same thing in number 2 as Most Wanted takes on Team Eager. Game 2 coming right at you. No breaks, no capes, just games. Most Wanted on the left side with the first pick. Team Eager on the right with the second. And we'll see where the bands start off. Anything from Team Eager specifically scare you if you're Most Wanted?
The biggest thing is Most Wanted clearly outdrafted. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
eager, you're banning out Khepri. It's really hard. It depends on what they want to deal with. I felt like the biggest thing there was Most Wanted just abused the fact that Adjust cannot like the Kwang. I feel like scared eager,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to play around. The Soul first pick got me a little bit baffled. AirCougar, while he did do amazing, I don't think it was enough to scare the comp of Most Wanted.
Most Wanted. We'll see if they call it back. Bands coming out. Ao Kwang, same as last time. This time Soul is banned by Most Wanted. So they recognize the fact. Allied said that, Air Cougar played amazing. And
Yeah,
Most Wanted agree.
if
So,
Eager were to come back that game, it would have been off the back end of Cougar's play. And if Cougar were to pop off
mhm.
that game, if he were to go insane and just like destroy everybody, it would be off his. I mean, he was 3-0, full Doom Orb stack poly. Really, he just needed a little bit more time to get his itemization online, and he very well could have cleaned up a lot of those team fights.
Another player that I liked a lot was Matt Koiz on that Odin, but since Team Eager doesn't have the first pick, they're going to ban it. Better safe than sorry, they say. So Matt Koiz won't be able to replay on that Odin, but we'll see where Most Wanted
We
go.
didn't we didn't tune in too much on Soul Lane that time around. There was a lot of
Right.
action in the mid jungle,
Yeah.
but the biggest thing was Matt Koiz that seemed like he had a decent handle on Dwurst, which is insane considering that for people that don't know, Matt Koiz switched over from jungle to soul lane.
Hmm.
Seems that his jungling skills. I mean, it's probably worked out for the better because Matt Koiz is known for his tank junglers. Assassin's not really his strong suit. Able to take his tank specialty into the soul lane, and it seems to be
Yeah.
working out as a great transition.
And we mentioned the rings that were coming out from Odin, and that's always what I like to see out of a solo laner because, and I don't want to diminish any players, but anybody can really blink and hit 4, right? That's not the difficulty. It's about where are you placing those rings? Are they effective? And we saw them in that last engagement onto the Phoenixes. The rings were just very very strong. So
Yeah,
uh,
potent.
yeah.
I think is a great word for Matt Koiz's play.
Hmm.
It was definitely in your face. He was doing the correct thing. But we see a Chronos picked, first pick for Most Wanted over Khepri.
Is this Clow on Chronos? Because Chronos doesn't strike me as a Clow
No, this
character.
is trans.
This is
A hundred
Transonics.
percent. This is like trans is god. Even like with Chronos being viable. See, like here's the difference between trans. Trans season 2, Chronos wasn't a thing. So
Hmm.
trans would be telling me all the time, be like, Allied, I'm just trust me, Chronos is real. I'm like, in your casual games, yes. In scrims, you will get the hands. But the biggest thing was that he's been trying to make this work forever, and everyone knows that trans has a Chronos. Now that Chronos
Right.
is back in the meta, well, rip, because I'm glad I don't have to go against him now.
Which is fun because just celebrating a lot of people as Hunbats and Vamana are selected. Chronos is a difficult. Abilities like Time Rift are hard to hit on PC. And then when you translate over to the Xbox, that one out of Chronos, that's rough to hit, especially when you're aiming those basics. So Transonics to be able to pilot a character like Chronos, again, bring up the fact. I'm sorry I keep mentioning it, but he's an Xbox native. So seeing that Chronos come out, it's a very curious pick, and I personally love to watch Chronos be played.
Especially a high execution god like Chronos. Having so many. I mean, when we're talking about Chronos, Chronos is it's pretty complicated.
Oh yeah.
You gotta time your passives.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta time your passives with your acceleration to get the movement speed, to get the auto attacks down. You gotta know when to time rift, and you really know when to auto attack and set up really good combinations of managing your mana while clearing the wave, while looking for good poke, and getting yourself and your itemization online by mid game. So what I just said right there, that's complicated to the common pleb.
In all of that you just said has to be done in the nick of time as you're going, as you're playing the game,
Exactly. Yeah,
and that's
it's a
what makes
big
it
deal.
tough.
Yeah. So Trans able to get that down to the highest level of
Hmm.
SPL, or
SCL.
yeah.
As we're coming into it. Team Eager and Most Wanted Esports have completed the first round of picks, moving on to the second round of bans. Khepri, Isis, and Tyr is the startup on Team Eager. So Khepri and Isis going to be featured a lot in that mid lane. And Most Wanted Esports instead bring Hunbats to the party. So it didn't work for Eager. They're going to see if it works for Most Wanted. And Thor and Athena take it off the table.
I'm surprised to not see Eager go Bologna versus Vamana. I feel like Tier definitely has a disadvantage early, but really the biggest
Sure.
thing here is Tier is so hard to play on Xbox.
Right.
And when we talk about Tier, it's not that he's like a hard character by any means. I mean, his combos pretty much do it like, you just really just hit your
Dial the
fingers on the
combo.
keyboard and yeah, you just instantly get his combo. But the biggest thing is just landing his abilities. It's very easy to miss abilities on Xbox, especially with the lower FPS, maybe some lag spikes, and you miss your whole kit and become useless in a team fight.
For,
So
for me, what it is it's the ability to just turn around. If you see, Transonics plays at a very high sensitivity, so he's able to get those out there. But really, I don't know how high Dwurst sensitivity is. So if you're playing out there, getting those quick turnaround fearlesses, those can be a little bit tougher on this realm. Geb going to be banned out by Eager, so that Most Wanted won't be able to Geb shield any of their nonsense. Last ban of the match coming out from Most Wanted. They're going to think about it just a little bit. They got 10 more seconds, Ally. Don't look. Okay, it's a Kali. Never mind.
and this
Is that who you would have banned, though?
It looks like Adjust is trying to limit down Myflin. So when we talk about Myflin, he seems to be a little bit struggling on the God Pool
Oh,
side.
yeah.
So I respect these jungle bans coming out of Most Wanted, and I think when it comes to experience, Adjust. So when we're talking about the PC transition, Adjust was World's contender. He was
Right.
second place.
Yeah.
Uh,
And he was
Mytheria.
a big part of that team as well.
Yeah, of course, of course. Mytheria, however, was on Elevate, which was widely considered the worst SPL team. Good team. Like, could they beat challenger teams? Could they beat most of the weaker challenger teams?
Right,
Absolutely.
yeah.
They definitely held their spot. They just couldn't quite escape the fact that they were losing the majority of their games. So, but that's a big deal, especially when it comes to experience and playing Adjust. I think he's just trying to limit down their jungle options as Eager are, they're feeling the pressure here. I mean, they're
And-
down 1-0.
Yeah, and they're still thinking about that jungle selection. Don't want to go for it just yet, so they pick up Neith instead. That'll be in the long lane next to Khepri, so a lot of push coming out. And Sylvanus is going to be teamed up with Chronos. Sylvanus is a character that we just don't see a lot of. He hasn't really been regarded as that top-tier support. And it's interesting to see him here.
Dude, Webben loves this Sylvanus pick.
He really does.
Regardless of the pickup in Hades. Oh, yes. I'm calling it Cloud's Hades mid. He inspired me to Hades mid. That was like my main
Yep,
inspiration. Like,
yeah.
Cloud one game in a scrim, beat me. I went 1-9. It was the first time
Ouch.
ever seen Hades mid. I never
Ouch.
went against it. He farmed me so bad, I felt like I was going to get kicked off the team. Right after that, I was like, all right, I'm done here, guys. I'm getting ready to make the announcement. And then they're like, don't worry, we'll just give it another shot. We just got to make sure we ban out Cloud's Hades. So that was a major inspiration for me to pick up Hades. And Cloud, this is definitely a trans going 80 carry Chronos, and this is the Hades mid for that full-on aggression.
Wow. Yeah, Hades gonna Hade. We've seen it before. And Cloud, like you said, I mean, I've seen it before. It's gonna be an interesting one. And Fenrir will be the final choice for Team Eager. So Mytheria opting for or Myflin as he's known now, onto that Fenrir. What do you know about Myflin's Fenrir prowess?
I think it's a strong Fenrir. It really depends. Fenrir is a little bit awkward on Xbox. I mean, you can make it work, but really, I don't know. I feel like a lot of his abilities are just weird. On Xbox, at least when I play
Fenrir
it,
would translate kind of well, actually.
it's rough. And the biggest thing is I've heard like so many stories of Fenrir just not working out in like high level play, which is why he's so rarely picked. But we'll see what Myflin actually does here, as this is a pretty aggressive mid jungle. I mean, when you compare both, Team Eager's 3v3 should win against Most Wanted Esports 3v3.
Khepri, Isis, Fenrir taking on Hun, Batz, Sylvanus, Hades. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
domination in that area. And then
Especially early.
yeah, and then when we talk about Soul Lane, we talk about Matt Koiz versus Dwurst, where Matt Koiz definitely has the early game more aggressive god. We got to see if Dwurst can make something happen as Tier starts to scale up, gets his heal and breastplate online. We'll see if Dwurst can make something happen, as he's going to be a big factor on if Eager can do anything here or not.
You know, the game is very different in the picks and ban screen versus the actual battlefield. So on paper, Team Eager should be chasing Most Wanted far away from these mid-harpies. Most Wanted should be light years away from any engagement before level 5, especially before level 5 here in the mid lane. Now, will that actually work out? Very different story. We'll see how it develops.
The biggest thing going in here is can Trans make this dual lane, this Chronos dual lane workout? Can Clow regain? So Clow's a big, if you notice by all of Clow's picks so far,
Mhm.
with we had the Zeus Power Pot. Is he gonna go Power Pot Hades, which is looking like it?
Power Pod Hades?
I dig it. It's a lot of early game. No, actually, okay, it's Tiny Trinket, but still, I still dig it regardless because Cloud's big theme here is early game aggression, setting the pace, and setting his jungler up adjust while going into like early invades. Like we saw the
Mhm.
Boar invade early for soft pressure, which I definitely love that.
So if that's his thing, why don't we see that reflected in the God choice? We don't see the Isises, we don't see the Poseidons, we don't see the Souls.
Okay, Cloud just feeds on Isis. I don't know why.
I've seen it.
He just feeds, dude. Like Cloud's thing is like he's like 0-11 and he's like proud. And I'm like, Cloud, could you just
Yeah, kind of out of this world that he chooses to go Zeus and Hades for like some early game nonsense. But that just goes to show that sort of what I was talking about with the picks and bans. Things are different on paper. Things are a lot different on paper than in actuality. Like, if your goal is to go for that early game mid pressure, you go for some of the gods I spoke about. But Hades and Zeus.
Yeah, I mean everyone has comfort picks,
Mhm.
and for Cloud he makes them work.
Exactly. That's the big key for me is how he actually it works. Like I said, it's very strange to see Zeus flex his muscles early game and then build defense late game and just say, "All right, fine, your turn, Transonics." But that's exactly what we got out of him. So there's that diamond Chronos you were talking about. So not just
Oh,
making
yeah.
that stuff up.
Trans legit like he has 1,000,000 games played on Chronos alone,
Yeah.
and then he has another 1,000,000 for each hunter. So he definitely that's Nick.
That is
What?
that's Clow.
That
That's Clow. So the blink, I mean the wasted blink over there, that we mentioned, Clow's a cheeky player and he's gonna want to put you on your back foot a little bit.
I
And
just can't believe that happened.
I mean, that's the most Clow thing that could happen. Let me just blink
He's
forward
dead.
and then let me give up first blood.
Yeah.
Team Eager taking out Clow right away. Clow, you're fried, my friend.
Yeah.
Great Spirit Ball. This looks like it might be 2 for 1.
It
Jumping
is.
in is Myflin, and he'll be taken out as well. So very early aggression coming out here. Fenrir, looking at the build, did not lose Red Pot.
Yeah, and
Like the choice.
And the biggest thing there was that Isis had Power Pot there, so able to get out full aggression.
Yep.
And that was insane. As Jellly looking to pull Trans. Trans taking too much damage.
Great stuff.
Not enough to kill, but more than enough to push him under the tower.
Very important that Transonics stunned who he chose to stun, right? The players are spread out for Team Eager, so you have to choose one person. And he opts to go directly for the damage dealer. Khepri is a lot less of a threat than the Neith. So
Yeah. And it looks like they're going to be on the back foot here for at least the rest of laning phase. In the mid lane, however, some slight aggression. Clow is going to drown. Clow's making me look bad here. I'm sweating.
well, I mean, Clow flexed really well on that Zeus. On the Hades, however, seems to be off to a poor start. 0-2-1, 2 deaths before 2 minutes. Clow is not off to the same start he was in the last game.
And that's huge, especially before the 5-minute mark or the 2-minute mark. Dying twice in lane, being 2 levels behind, and Isis with Power Pot. I mean, this Power Pot's been paid off like
Exactly.
twice over.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest issues with starting the Power Pot is if you don't die, you have not done anything successful. But what Team Eager has done successful is pick up a 2-minute and 20-second Gold Fury. Big part of that is due to the Isis, who's going to trade her life for it as it just jumps on in. But the Gold Fury a little bit more powerful, and as you said, Isis loses the red pot, but she's gotten 2 kills and a Gold Fury for it.
Yeah, I mean, as
Worth?
you see, you see Delta Marine, squat up. He's gonna get the pen boots online. He's gonna gear up, and he's just gonna come back. And still, it's like the Power Pot never left, really, because
Exactly.
a 2-minute, 50-second pen boots rush, that's still gonna hurt whoever. But the rotation's on.
Just clowing around. Clow uses the blink again haphazardly, and the gank that was coming over to the solo lane doesn't seem to work out. 4-man shift from Most Wanted into the short lane, and all it's going to do is send Tier back to base by way of the back button. Not exactly the way they wanted to, by way of damage.
Yeah, solo lane rotation coming out didn't quite work. Great reactive Neith ult, not to kill, to kind of be like, hey, like back up. Like, we understand that you guys are rotating. So.
Exactly. I mentioned so often how ganks aren't always... Silence is strong, but
Get the
the
ult off
big
in
dog
time.
is stronger. Cloud shoved underneath the tower. He's going to ult on the tower. He takes 2 tower shots, and Wubbin will try and heal him up as well as possible. Here comes Jellly. Pull into the stun, but not enough damage. Scratch that. Spirit Balls and Jelly's dots, good enough. 4 kills in total for Eager. Right now, they're averaging a kill per minute.
Yeah, they're pressuring Cloud, which is what you want to do against Hades. You want to make sure it doesn't free farm, doesn't bully the lane. Especially being this far behind, it's going to be really hard for Cloud to survive without getting babysat. This ISIS is really going out of control, and it's going to be interesting to see if Cloud can actually come back from this deficit.
Yeah, it's rough right now. Well, we're going to take a look at the graphs. 2,000 gold already in the lead for Eager as we pass 4:20 on the clock. Big high lead coming out for the red team. And just looking at those mid laners, Allied, 1,000 gold for ISIS above Cloud.
Yeah, that's
1,000.
really hard, especially
That's
ISIS
rough.
versus Hades matchup. Like,
Yeah.
Hades has the tools, in my opinion, to deal with ISIS, but
I
I
agree.
think Cloud aggressed a little bit too early, and we saw that dash in, and he had no creeps to heal off of. It just took way too much damage, and really it was just a sloppy play. Maybe Cloud's feeling himself a little bit too much off the last game where he did play
A little,
amazing,
yeah.
and now we got the troll Cloud that I hear ever so much about.
Just clowning around, and Matt Koiz is going to get fearless,
No.
power clean, fearless, power toasted. And Dwurst will laugh his way to the bank as he puts down his direct opponent. Matt Koiz can't pilot the Vamana well enough to deal with this tier.
Yeah, McCoy's really getting manhandled there. Dwurst, yeah, just getting the better end.
And that's what you were talking about, and that's what we as a unit were mentioning earlier was tier against the Vamana is a rough matchup, but the game is played here, not on that pick span screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, especially as Dwurst is starting to get his itemization online, is going to get the better ends.
And Sonic's forced into that ultimate right away, and not a big deal. What's a bigger deal is how does Eager react now that that ult's down. Cloud gets bitten one more time by Myflin. Ultimate from Neith will land. There's the Spirit Ball, which won't land. Now Delta Marine and the dog combine. Silence is strong enough just for Fenrir, not for Delta Marine. A little bit of trouble though as Matt Koiz makes the rotation, immediately cancels the ult to try and hit him with basics, but gets the ultimate out of Khepri, adjust, takes down Myflin, winds up being a extended 1-for-1.
Yeah, and now the rotation squad is here. Wubbin trying to heal up the troops, just doesn't have anything available at least this second to aggress on a tower dive, and really, Cloud actually kind of baited that. I mean, that was a good 1-for-1.
Yep.
Took out the Fenrir jungle. I mean, Cloud at this point, we can honestly say he is worthless, right? And not worthless in a bad way, worthless as in, like, killing him over and over again, wasting resources to just absolutely destroy him is not going to affect how much gold, because as you keep killing the
quite
same
literally
player,
the kills on the Cloud.
yes, yeah, literally. So as Cloud falls farther and farther behind, he's actually being a great meat shield and baiting out. I mean, he baited out the rotation there. The biggest thing I want to see is Cloud a little bit more, you know, careful, especially with Fenrir's there with his jumping. He needs to. He doesn't have beads available. He needs to just be aware in his positioning.
Dwurst almost stopped the back, but last second stuff, always fun. I always wind up getting caught when I'm doing that. 3,000 player damage on Neith. Really been able to drive this. A lot of that damage have come from ultimates as well. Only 1 assist on her slash line, but still a big part of what's been going on. Wubbin. Not gonna chase down Jellly. Very interesting. Everybody's everywhere here in the back jungle. Myflin gets his ultimate beads out. He's gonna get knocked up, and there's the damage from the party monkey. But a strong ultimate from Khepri all the way from back there. Jellly saves the life of his jungler. Can't say the same about Transonics as ISIS takes him out. Here comes Cloud. Grabs 4 in the ult. He's gonna at least look towards the Fenrir. And Matt Koiz takes out Myflin, but Dwurst answers back, takes out Wubbin. Now Cloud surrounded, dashes forward, will find a way out. Tier has to make up his mind, chooses to go for Cloud, but it's a little bit too late.
The biggest thing there was Cloud's blink in there, able to blow up everyone. And really, I mean, he didn't confirm a kill there, but set his team up to not fall severely behind. But now Eager set their eyes on the Gold Fury, and it looks like they should be able to get this pretty cleanly. I mean, it's an 8-minute Gold Fury. Gold Fury does not have too much health. No sign of contest, and they get it.
Eager now significantly in the lead. 3,400 gold for Team Eager. Very, very, very well done.
Now, this isn't like anything that Most Wanted can't come back from, but it's going to be extremely hard, especially like this is an early game team comp that Eager have. They have a lot of control,
Right.
they have a lot of disruption, and the biggest thing here is how can they deal with this Khepri reviving people. ISIS, ISIS is more than effective enough.
Yeah, as the game gets later and later, as you said, the early game out of ISIS Fenrir, I mean, that's exactly what it's supposed to do, right? They've destroyed the mid lane, and that's why that's the direct reason why we see those cheeky Gold Furies. Because without the pressure in the mid lane, Most Wanted can't actually do anything on that side of the map. So they've shut down the mid lane. They take a couple of Gold Furies for it. We have yet to reach 10 minutes. Fire Giant is still sleeping right now. So as the game progresses on and on and on, and ignoring Clow for the moment, just looking at the rest of the team, everybody's doing kind of okay.
Yeah.
So how this team transitions into the late game.
If you're on Most Wanted or you're cheering for Most Wanted, the prayer right now, put your hands together. The prayer is for Trans to come in, late game adjust, is already doing good, and we got to see Cloud just make these great 5-man ults, able to set his team up for victory.
Which worked out in the last team fight. Cloud jumped in, he grabbed 4. Obviously the fight ultimately went to Eager as Koiz gets taken out across the map, but Wubbin takes out the support. Look at that.
Yeah, Wubbin actually get a beautiful pull under tower as he was trying to rotate over just to help with the kill onto Koiz. So 1-for-1 support for Solo as Cloud jumps in just to get dragged on the tower.
Gonna get dragged under tower. He's gonna take a couple of shots. He's gonna get ulted. Delta Marine puts Clow on the ground. 5th death for the mid laner with the highlight reel from last game. So not enough momentum to save that. And Wubbin surrounded 3-man and 4th. Myflin puts Sylvanus down, adjusted some trouble. Couple of basics. Dwurst rotation counts as well. 3 currently dead for Most Wanted, and that's going to send Team Eager into the mid lane.
Yeah, that was a great rotation from AirCougar, recognizing that the team has the advantage, takes the rotation option, misses on a wave of farm, but while he does miss on the wave of farm, he does get tier 1 tower, a couple kills, and mid Harpies. Definitely more than worth it for the Eager squad.
10-minute tower is going to help AirCougar lead his opponent by about 1,000 gold. Transonics trailing just a little bit.
And it's unfortunate because really this just comes down to Clow is just fried, right? Like
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing about this early game. It would not be as far behind. Like Most Wanted would have such a good fighting chance if Cloud just was not 0-5. And I hate to blow him up, but you can't just play amazing like that and then Cloud's just like, let me just turn off my brain.
No, I mean, and you know that's the reality of the situation, and you know, like we said, it's more about how Cloud. Nice try by Wubbin. It's more about how Cloud transitions out of this, right? It's not as if he's playing a Hebo or if this was the Zeus game, pack it up, fam. But right now you're looking at a god that has tools. There's a silence, there's an ultimate.
Lots of utility.
There's utility that Cloud, you know, it's rough. You're 0-5 and 4. But if Cloud can buckle down and now transition into this utilitarian role, his team still does have a shot.
The biggest thing Most Wanted, I want to see Wubbin definitely get the breastplate online for the healing.
Oh,
and
the duel.
Really, Trans needs some kills. I feel like Trans needs to be a little bit more active in these fights and just get to that late game Chronos monster. But really, they have to be so careful on these 3v3 fights. Obviously, they don't have the upper hand. They need to be a little bit more careful in baiting these out. And I'd also, like, if we do go into game 3, can we see some Khepri bans? Like, I'm so sick of seeing him.
Wubbin gonna get the strong knockup onto Team Eager. 3-on-3 down in this corridor. Great teleport from Adjusted. He's gonna get picked up, unfortunately, by Myflin. But the dog himself takes a bunch of damage. As soon as Delta Marine shows up, this looks poor for Most Wanted, and he starts things off by taking down Adjust. Ultimate's down underneath Clow. Pop, pop! AirCougar takes down the mid laner one more time. Everybody's chasing Transonics. Wubbin is nowhere to be seen. Trans gets grabbed, purifies out, getting aggressive, looking towards the support, takes him out, but gets answered immediately. And now Wubbin not going to fall as the jump from Myflin, a little bit off the mark.
Yeah, Koiz is there just to make sure that Wubbin doesn't get dove. He looks for the pull, but Wubbin takes maybe a little bit too much damage, and Delta, with the fade away, able to land on Wubbin, take him out from existence, and I just wow. That was a great play.
That one triggered me because that you sit there and you say there is okay. You know what? That pull, you're gonna take some damage, but I respect it because there's no way they're gonna get you.
And then
Surprise, Spirit Ball through the wall.
I mean, that's what happens when you have to deal with the 7-1 ISIS with
Yup.
full Dumorb and Pen. Especially 13 minutes in the game. It's like, I dream of having that much farm 13 minutes in the game.
8,000 gold.
It's a big deal.
8,000 gold. That's the same situation as his solo laner.
And Dwurst just being a nuisance. Just actually slapping him down. I mean, this is a 4-level difference. Dwurst still taking too much damage. He's getting poked out. He does heal, ults away, and can Dwurst get out as it looks like Myflin's there. He's looking for the pickup on a Just. Just is most likely going to get picked up here, and the ult is more than enough damage. As Eager keep aggressing in the jungle.
Dwurst just going to take out some elementals, adjust.
He died to the tier 2 just to revive all the way back there. Like, good characters are us, F. Dot.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Wubbin going to help clear out some of these minions on top of the tower. Checking it on the time, 14:20 on the clock, 17-6 read the kills, and Team Eager leading by about 5,700, so a little short of 6,000 gold. A lot of cheeky plays coming out from Eager, really utilizing their composition to the best of their capabilities, going for a 2-minute and 21-second gold fury out of this world. This is what I want to see at a Trans. I want to see this boxing match. You're a level down, but you're Chronos. You can take that.
I love the fact that he recognized his acceleration was, getting off, which is his steroid for boxing, and actually
Wubbin's going to get it this time.
Oh, a little bit off the mark. Xbox. It's hard. It's really hard, especially the fact that Wubbin keeps landing these clutch pulls is amazing to me. We haven't really touched on it too much, but he's really he's been making wonders with these pulls as Eager looking to pick up someone.
Ultimate coming out from the monkey. That's going to be good enough for absolutely nothing. Transonics gets toasted no matter what. 18th kill of the match for Team Eager. Wubbin grabs Jellly.
No follow-up. It looks like
no one was around.
Most Wanted Esports looking to defend the goal fear, more interested in that as it just gets aggressed on. Forced to beads again.
That's, that's direct result of ISIS. No reason to beat that unless ISIS can take you 100-0. And she can.
Yeah, and Eager now with the teleport in at full
Look
5.
at the rush.
Sprint is out. Wubbin is just going to get cut down. Chop, chop. Meanwhile, Cloud with a great blink in 5-man ult.
That's the ult that we're talking about, Cloud. Be that helper. But unfortunately, too many people of Eager able to look right towards him, take him out. AirCougar takes out the jungler as well. Matt Koiz realizes he's got no business being here. And Team Eager get yet another Gold Fury.
If this was 6-6, that ult would have been game over.
Exactly.
If this was like 0-0-4 Cloud, would have been potential pentakill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 0-7 Cloud with a Void Stone start, it's like he is too severely far behind to really do too much, being 5 levels down to the counter mid.
I love the Void Stone pickup, though, because it tells me that Cloud's mind is in the right spot. Matt Koiz is aggressing real hard, gets his dash stunned out. 3 and 4. Matt Koiz forced up into the ultimate. Delta Marine still giving chase. He knows it's just a matter of time. Here comes Myflin. They'll meet up on the baby. Ultimate v ultimate. Who's lasts longer? It's the big dog. That might just be a dead Vamana.
Yeah, I love the rotation there. Meanwhile, the duel lane looking to pick up Cougar, which would be a great pickup, recognizing that the rotation squad was in solo. Great Sanctuary right before the CC, and he actually gets the backflip off. Can they chase him down? No! Cougar!
Man.
That was a great presence of mind, heads-up play. Sanctuary immediately when the CC comes doesn't even need to beat because he doesn't even have it up. So.
And I was just so impressed with the quickness of the Sanctuary. You mentioned presence of mind. Instantly activated that spell, just on top of it. Jellly versus Transonics.
Yeah, Jelly's getting the slap down right now. Meanwhile, on the solo lane side of things, Wubbin is getting aggressive. Great pop-up ult, but Dwurst should be able to clean this up swiftly as Wubbin has no way to escape that combination of abilities.
Most Wanted, they looked very strong in game number 1, and quite the opposite here. Eager just taking every advantage, and Dwurst going so deep. I mean, this is Team Eager. I thought maybe Dwurst got a lesson out of the Zapman book of aggression and was going to dive the Phoenix. But left side, Transonics in some trouble as the dual lane has returned, and they're just pushing.
The big question here is, I'm just going to assume that, let's say Eager wins, right?
Okay.
Which they are definitely heading in the right direction if they
Sure.
want to win this
They have over a 10,000 gold lead. I think that's safe.
Yeah, so the biggest thing to talk about here is, one, Most Wanted, they have to recognize that this is just Cloud's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud, could you cut it out? Let's step it up for game 3. Will this affect morale? Obviously, this greatly affects momentum, as they had a great momentum beating Weekend's new squad of members. They beat, teams previously the round before that, so they had a lot of momentum riding into this, taking game 1 off Eager. Does this affect momentum going into game 3, and can they recoup mentally and pull out a game 3 victory?
That's one of the larger issues to keep in mind when you're looking at these open bracket relegations, or more importantly, the large tournament format, is that these teams, when they finally meet up in the finals, I mean, Myflin's getting a little aggressive. It's 7:30 here in Atlanta. These guys have been playing since this morning, and more importantly, they've been winning since this morning.
Yeah.
If you lose in the finals, it's the first loss you've taken. And right now, Team Eager really trying to push the advantage in Most Wanted's jungle. They're just not leaving.
Yeah, and there's really nothing they can do. Sprint is popped. It looks like they're aggressing on the Trans. Trans caught completely out of position. The stun is good. Cougar credited with the kill. The dive is real onto tier 2. Wubbin trying to slowly walk away.
He wants to stay local just in case he can pop up a strong ultimate or whatnot, but good pull on to Myflin, but that might have been the wrong choice. Myflin picks up Wubbin. Great knockup. Wubbin finds a way out. Clow drops a perfect ultimate, but the numbers aren't there. Wubbin falls to the tier. Looking for a way out of the just. Dwurst can't find a shot, but they can certainly find the shots onto Clow. There's one more hit. AirCougar picks up the kill on the mid laner. It's been 6 kills since AirCougar, or 5 kills since AirCougar last died, since he hasn't at all this match. And that's it. Team Eager, they're going to aggress on the Phoenix, and that's all Most Wanted wants to see. They'll pull out the F6 just a hair past the 20-minute mark.
So yeah, the biggest issue of that game was, as wonderful as Eager played, so we had a couple of just early game disadvantages. Matt Koiz getting bodied by Dwurst.
Sure.
It was a big one. Trans really couldn't get anything going, falling behind in experience because of Cloud dying like literally 4 times in the first 8 minutes. So,
I mean, that was the biggest deal. And, just as we're going to celebrate when somebody does very well, it's also important to recognize what happens when a team does break down and unfortunately fail. And Clow going 0-3 in the first 2 minutes definitely was a big deal. We've stressed so many times how important that mid pressure is, how often this team within a team, the support, jungle, and mid team up, all of a sudden you can't take any part of those fights anymore, and Clow was unable to really transition into that utilitarian role, even though, like I said, to his credit, I liked how he wanted to. You saw the Void Stone pickup. He was looking towards that, but we'll take a look at how Eager took advantage of Clow's lack of play in this game. First blood right on top of Clow.
So, big thing here was Cloud jumped in, no heal off the creeps, taking too much damage, didn't recognize the power pot, didn't respect it. Delta Marine gets the first blood, and we have a just trying to run away. Spirit Ball was good, forces the beads, jumps on the tower, but recognizing he can at least get a hit in, and even though he dies, there's a good little follow-up there, because that still creates pressure for Delta Marine to get that solo farm.
And a big part of this, we've mentioned the negative side of this a lot, Allied. We focused a lot on Clow, which his play definitely started the situation, but more importantly for Eager, Delta Marine continued it. Clow set himself up to become First Blood, and then Delta Marine said, "Thank you very much, I will keep on keeping on," and he just never took his foot off the gas.
I felt like Delta Marine and Myflin played an excellent job with this mid-jungle synergy, able to recognize the mistakes, and really the biggest thing is capitalizing on these mistakes.
That's
so many times, a big reason why it's very tough, especially mid-jungle, the second you falter on punishing these mistakes, you get blown up.
Right.
And that could be very easily from Cloud going 0-8 into Cloud being, 8-8, right? Like, it could very easily turn around, as we've seen from previous Xbox games. So them keeping up the strong play was important going for that game.
Game number